Probably more vocabulary. And you may want to make note of these. So an acute angle measures less than 90 degrees. It's kind of small and sharp. Usually, uh, when understanding things, see if I can draw a circle here. So let me insert a circle on my thing here. That'll probably work. So remember, when it comes to angles, you have to have a vertex point. So when I draw a circle, that vertex point is actually going to be the center of the circle. So, so I'm going to call this one side of the angle. Notice that if you go all the way around the circle, if you rotate all the way around the circle, that's going to be 360 degrees. Now, sometimes what we do is we can cut the circle in half. So that's called a semicircle. So if you go from here all the way to here, that's half of 360, which would be 180. So 180 also knows how it kind of makes a line. So like the edge of the protractor as well, a straight edge. Now, if I cut this this way, what happens is the 360 is now cut into four angles. So 360 divided by 4 would be 90 degrees. So if I go from here to here, that would be one sector, if you will. But that would be what we call a 90-degree angle. When we have a 90-degree angle, a lot of times you'll see us put this little square in the corner. That's going to be what we call the right angle. Acute angle is going to be less than 90. So if I started here and I rotate around, as long as I don't get up to 90 degrees, that's going to be described as acute. So acute is going to be small angle, no more than 90 degrees, or less than 90 degrees, I should say. As we just mentioned, a right angle is a 90-degree angle. So it's like a corner. A lot of times, if you have a book, it's like the corner of a book. A lot of houses, you have corners in houses as well. So those are all what we call 90 degrees. A lot of times we use this word square. If we're in construction, a right angle means we're square. So that means we have a 90-degree angle. Another type of angle is what we call obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees but less than 180. So remember, if I go from here all the way over to here, so I can do this a little bit differently. So if I go from here all the way over to here, that's going to be 180 degrees. So that's a half a circle. So an obtuse angle has to go past 90, but it can't go past 180. So notice how an obtuse angle is going to be greater than 90, but less than 180. So it's going to be, so if I draw a right angle, an obtuse angle has to be more rotation than that. So if I draw one side of an angle, as long as this other side goes more to the in rotation more than 90, this is what we're kind of talking about is obtuse, something more than 90, but it cannot go past the 180. So it's wide, but it's not straight. 120 degrees is a common obtuse angle. A straight angle measures 180 degrees. In other words, it forms a straight line. So we already kind of talked about that one. So straight angle would be going all the way across here. So straight angles. So it cuts a circle in half, if you will. So if you draw a circle and then draw a line through the middle of it, that rotation from the one side to the other half is going to be uh, exactly 180 degrees. So again, if you want to pause the video and just make some notes here, some types of angles, we have acute, right, obtuse, straight. Other ones that we may not have mentioned, but the reflex angle is going to be past 180, but it can't be more than 360 as a reflex angle. So a lot of times it's considered the outside, not the inside of an angle. So it's going to be more than 180, but cannot be, it's got to be under 360. Now, a full rotation is 360 degrees. So a full angle, if you will, is the full rotation, which is 360 degrees. So I'll stop there.